with the government's progress. Let's talk to the Director of UK and Changing Europe. He's back with us, Professor Anand Menon. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. I know you've had a big day setting out some of these figures. The one that really surprised me is that 1 in 8 people in Britain feel European. I would have thought it might have been more evenly split, reflecting the referendum.
No, because we've always lagged behind other Europeans. We've always been near the bottom of that particular league table when it comes to feeling as if you were European. We've always had a fairly transactional view of our membership. So whilst in other member states, some parts of the population at least have bought into this idea of not just being in the EU but being European, we've seen this far more as a sort of transactional, we'll be in for economic gain rather than actually feeling part of some sort of political union or state in the making or anything like that. So we've always lagged behind the others. I
mean, looking at that graph that we just showed, which is pretty stark, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There's been a bit of movement either way over the last 18 months or so. The economic analyses, the reports from either side, the reassurances that the Brexit side are giving, nothing really changes where people sit.
Well, lots has changed in the background. So if you look at some of the other questions that the pollsters have asked, for instance, far more people now than last year think that Brexit will be bad for the British economy.
Okay.
Far more people now than last year.
But would that change their mind if you're a Brexiteer?
There's the rub. Is that whilst people are more negative about Brexit, people are more negative about how the government is handling Brexit, it's really not feeding through in any massive way into the figures on whether you think you voted the right way or the wrong way.
Not too surprisingly, Cathy, because during the referendum there was Project Fear and they still voted for Brexit.
Yeah, and people distrust the figures that they're given by the other side, right? We know the political science behind that. But, and I was just wondering whether you think that Britain is edging towards what we have in the United States, where it's not just policies that divide people. I mean, this has become tribal here. People live in different areas from people of the opposite political persuasion. They have different media. They go to different schools. They distrust each other's patriotism. It's really incredibly ingrained here. And I was wondering if you think this could be starting to happen in the UK.
Well, first, and I don't want to suck up to you too much, the big difference, I think, or a big difference between us and the United States is the BBC, because that's something you don't have in the United States.
You can say that any time, Anand, it's fine.
Yeah.
And we didn't
I
pay
thought
him,
carefully about saying that, and I decided to in the end. Maybe I'll regret it. But there, you know, it's NBC or Fox, so even your sort of day-to-day news viewing is slightly echo chambery. But yes, one of the things that has come out of this referendum is we've always had this culture divide in our country, but actually there's been no way of expressing it because essentially the two big parties are in roughly the same place. What Brexit did was give an opportunity to people who are social conservatives, if you like, rather than social liberals, to voice their discontent, and all the evidence shows that that has become a major division in our society now alongside the traditional political one. So yeah, it is a real possibility that this starts to haunt and disrupt our politics.
I could talk about this report all day, but we're out of time, Anand. But go and have a look on the UK and Changing Europe website. There's some really interesting figures in there. Thanks for coming in again.